Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kwame. In today's video, I'm basically going to share the update in regards to the graduate visa subclass 485. So I made a video I think 3 weeks ago or last month, and I've been reading some interesting comments in regards to that. I also use this opportunity time to clarify things because I think most people didn't really understand what I was trying to say, and also most also do not understand what the graduate visa subclass 485 is. I'll leave a link to that video in the description section below. Please go there and read the comments. Most people are in support in regards to what the government is doing. Others are also not in support, okay? And there were also some rude comments that I think is not fair, okay, that were in there. Anyways, I'll basically share the good news with you guys. So the government have basically made a revision. I'll share that with you guys today, and also I'll take my time and explain things into detail so you guys can understand the perspective of most students, especially most students from Africa. I'll throw more light in regards to why I think the government should do something in regards to that. Most people were also saying that we shouldn't use the student visa as the backdoor to migrate to Australia. I think again most people do not understand what that graduate visa subclass 485 is. Before we get into the video, please know that I'm not a registered migration agent, so please use any advice in this video as general advice only. I'll see you guys on the other side. Again guys, so this has been revised. If you've not watched the first video I did, please click on the first link in the description section below so you don't get confused, because I'll straight away go to the point. Okay, so this is changes to the temporary graduate visa program proposed on the 1st of July 2024. So I'll just go straight to the higher education sector. Okay, so the post-higher education work stream, formerly known as the post-study work stream. The maximum eligible age of post-higher education work stream applicants will reduce to 35 years of age or under at the time of application. Masters of Research and PhD graduates and Hong Kong and British national overseas passport holders will still be eligible if they are under 50 years of age. Applicants no longer eligible for the post-higher education work stream due to the age reduction may be eligible for other visas. What this is basically saying is if you finish your studies in the higher education sector in Australia, okay, and you are over the age of 35, you will not be able to apply for the graduate work visa subclass 485 unless you did your studies. So if you did Masters of Research, you are still eligible to be under the age of 50. If you did your PhD program in Australia, that won't affect you. If you are from Hong Kong, this won't affect you. And if you are holding a British national passport, this will not affect you. So at first, it was only those from Hong Kong and British nationals, they were the only ones that were exempted from this. But now the governments have added those that are doing their Masters of Research and also their PhD, which is good. I wish they can still remove that 35 years cap and make it the old 50 years cap for everyone, because what of those that are studying in the VEX sectors that will be over the age of 35, or what of those that are currently studying their masters in Australia, okay, their masters coursework that will be over the age of 35 once they finish their course. What is going to happen to them? Does that mean that they do not get any return on their investment and they need to pack up their bags and go back home, or what happens to them? Or okay, so if the government still says yes, unless you've done your Masters of Research, your PhD, you are from Hong Kong or you're a British national, if you're over the age of 35, you have to pack your bags and go. If they can have like a grandfather rule and exempt those that are currently studying in Australia, this would be really helpful, because most of the students that are currently studying had the idea or had the hope that when they finish their studies here, they'll be able to at least go onto the visa subclass 485 and work and get some return on their investment, or at least get some work experience before they go back to their home country. Okay, so with those that watched the other video that I did and didn't really understand what the visa subclass 485 is, please listen to my point of view. or let's say an African student that is currently studying in Australia. See, the visa subclass 485 is not a permanent residence visa. Okay, so this visa basically allows students to work in their field and also get some work experience. Okay, and after they've worked, of course, they are going to get paid whilst they are working. And with this allows most of the students to get some return on their investments. Because trust me, studying in Australia is not cheap as an international student. Most international students will have to pay over 100,000 Australian dollars before completing their coursework or before completing their studies in Australia. Most even pay over 150,000 Australian dollars before completing their studies in Australia. Most have a dream. Okay, most know that after they finish their studies, at least they'll be given 2 years or 3 years through the postgraduate visa subclass 485 to work and also get some return on their investment or get some work experience right here in Australia before going back to their home country. So the graduate visa subclass 485 is not a permanent residency visa. It's just a temporary visa that allows students, okay, to remain in Australia and work and get work experience before, if they want to return back to their country, before returning back to their country. I'm also going to be honest with you guys. So of course, most student knows that Australia has the skilled migration route. So if their occupation is found or is listed under the skills occupation list, of course they use this time to get some work experience and to also get their skills assessment done and express their interest to the Australian government or state or a regional area in Australia in hope of getting selected so they can remain here and work permanently in Australia. For those that are lucky, of course they get nominated, and of course they are able to remain and work in this lovely country called Australia. And those that are not so lucky, of course they pack up their bags and they go back to their country. Now let me explain a few things. You see, most people, most international students, especially most people from Africa, coming to study in Australia is very expensive. And most people in Africa, I'm basically from Ghana, most people in Ghana will not be able to afford. What Australia basically wants is people that have finished high school and straight away their parents or their guardians sponsored them to come and study in Australia. Only few people in Africa will be able to do this. And most kids, they have the dream of coming to study in Australia. I remember when I was little, I used to watch this TV series in Australia. Skippy, 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 Skippy the bush kangaroo. Skippy, 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 something like that. I remember I used to watch this when I was little. I was like, one day I'll go to Australia. Okay, just because of Skippy. So most kids in Africa, okay, they've got a dream. They have the dream of traveling outside to further their education once they grow. But due to the expensive tuition fees, most people in Africa are not able to afford. So when most people finish their their high school, their parents are not able to support them. So they go on to doing their bachelors in their home country. When they finish their bachelors too, they do not just straight away come. They have to work and save for at least 2, 3 or 4 years. So you find out that most Africans that wants to come and study in Australia, they'll be around their late 20s or their early 30s. And most will also be targeting to come and do their master's degree. Why? Because they had to do a bit of work and save up to embark on their dream in regards to coming to study in Australia or coming to study or going to study in one of these Western countries. Putting this age cap of 35 is going to hurt a lot of African students, and I know that for sure. Most people or most families in Africa will have to sell their properties in order for them to sponsor their kids for them to come and study in Australia. Most will sell lands, most will sell houses. And why do they do this? They do this because they know that one, Australia education system is really good. Australia economy is really good. And also when they finish their studies, they'll be given a chance to at least work and get some return on their investments. If you invest in something, of course you are investing because you know you're going to get a great return on your investment. And the graduate visa 485 basically gave most of these African students hope that even if they finished their degree and they went for educational loans, they sold their properties, they sold their farmland, they sold a lot of things for them to embark on this journey. They know that when they finish their studies and they move on to this graduate visa subclass 485, they will have at least 2 years, okay, 2 years to work full time, save up some money, come and pay off their loans. So this visa surplus 485 basically gave them hope. I'm speaking for all international students, but mostly I'm also speaking for most African international students. When we look at the numbers of international students that migrate to Australia each year, you find that most of the African international students are very little. This shows to you that most of these families are not able to afford or to embark on this journey. But again, kids or most people have dream of studying abroad. I'll quickly share this data with you guys so you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so when we go on the education.gov.au website, okay, so international student numbers by country, by state and territory. Okay, so this I'm going to leave a link to this website in the description section below. This will give you guys the number of international students that are migrating from the country of passports, okay, into Australia, so you guys will understand these numbers. The numbers of international students studying in Australia totaled 687,840 for January to March 2024 period. So this is 2024 and this is the whole of Australia. As you guys can see here, okay, the most amount of international students that are currently studying in Australia are from, number 1 is China, number 2 is India, number 3 is Nepal, number 4 is Philippines, and the list goes on. So when we come to the top 10, none of these are African countries. Okay, even when we come to the top, top 16, none of these are African countries. I think the highest number of international students studying in Australia are from Kenya. Okay, they are 8,697. And when we go down the list, I'm originally from Ghana. Okay, so let's compare the numbers of international students from Ghana. See, 452 international students came from Ghana to study in Australia. This shows you how tough is it for most people from most of the African countries to afford to come and study right here in Australia. And no, not every international student remains in Australia. There's an article from study.nsw.gov.au, okay, and the portion reads, you see, post-study work opportunities. It reads here, most international students return overseas after completing their studies in Australia. So yes, most international students actually return back to their home country after completing their studies in Australia. So in a nutshell, all I'm trying to propose is for the government to do something in regards to this, because most students are going to really suffer. My name is Kwame Chumisi. I'll be really happy to listen to your thoughts, okay, on this issue. If the government can remove the age cap, that would be awesome. If they can't too, that is fine. At least what we can propose is they should have a grandfather rule, okay, and exempt those that are currently studying in Australia. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.